Also at the Daily Beast today, there's an article about Trump dragging the National Prayer Breakfast into his personal gutter yesterday morning when he questioned the faith of Senator Mitt Romney, a devout Mormon, and Nancy Pelosi, a devout Catholic. If you saw the clip, I saw it, and I thought, what the fuck? Trump at the National Prayer Breakfast, which should never happen. What the fuck are politicians doing going to something like the National Prayer Breakfast? It doesn't the First Amendment? Oh, it doesn't mean shit. Anyway, Trump said, he's standing there at the podium at the National Prayer Breakfast, and he says, quote, "I don't like people who use their faith as justification for doing what they know is wrong." You rotten fucker, you mean like every so-called Christian that supports you? Is that what you mean, you dumb bastard? Of course it is. You just don't know it. In other words, according to Trump, Romney not only lied about his true motivations for telling the truth, and who's the other senator from Mike Lee from Utah? Trump cited him personally a couple hours later at that mutual masturbatory junk fest that he had with all those people in the room, where he held up the paper again. He held up a fucking paper at the prayer breakfast. And then he did it again when he laid out his plan to start punishing people. But he singled out Mike Lee, the other Mormon from Utah, as being somebody who had certainly earned their knee pads for getting on his knees in front of Trump and doing, what Trump wanted him to do. Unfucking believable, this guy, right? But the Christians love him, don't they? Don't the Christians just love him? The white Christians. In other words, according to Trump, Romney not only lied about his true motivations, but he used his faith as a false pretext for an immoral political act. That's what Trump wants you to believe. As the Daily Beast says, that is profoundly insulting, even by Trump's standards of schoolyard nicknames and locker room talk. Yeah, you grab them by the pussy, they love it. You remember that? That's just locker room talk. Romney is a devout Mormon. He served as a bishop of the church in Boston in the 80s. And if you remember, he described, and I don't remember, but the Daily Beast here is helping me, he described his impeachment vote as a matter of profound moral reflection, values esteemed not only by fellow Mormons, but by people of faith in all denominations. Well, apparently your fellow Senator Mike Lee doesn't share your respect for your religion, Mr. Romney. Even though, and I have to say, I think your religion is total bullshit. But of course, I think that of all religions. So I'm not singling you out, Mr. Romney, Senator Romney. I certainly wouldn't single you out. But I mean, give me a fucking break. The angel Moroni appears to Joseph Smith somewhere in Vermont or Pennsylvania or some fucking place and says, "Psst, come here. Buried over there, a bunch of gold plates that really lays out the truth. Oh, and by the way, the 10 lost tribes of Israel, they all came here." Ah! But if that's what Mr. Romney believes, and if it gives him moral guideposts that he operates within, okay, who am I to scream bullshit? Anyway, Romney said before voting to convict Trump of abuse of power, he said, quote, "Does anyone seriously believe that I would consent to these consequences other than from an inescapable conviction that my oath before God demanded it of me. The consequences being the filth and the shit that the ghouls and vampires and rotten fuckers at Fox immediately heaped on him. And the efforts by Trump to embarrass and denigrate Mitt Romney. So Romney knew it was coming. He knows where he lives.
Can I say something?
You want to say something? Go ahead, Kathy.
I mean, it's another one of these examples, like Joe Scarborough said that day about how irony is dead, has a stake through its heart, has the corpse of irony has been dragged across every headstone in the graveyard of stupidity. Right. Well, this is the same thing to me because, I mean, Trump is standing there at the National Prayer Breakfast and then again in the room full of sycophants accusing Romney of breaking his oath to God by using his faith to doing something he knows
Trump is
wrong.
above. Trump is above God.
But wait. While every single senator in that room who put
and
their
cabinet
hand on
member
a Bible and swore an oath before Justice John Roberts to be neutral, fair,
impartial,
unbiased arbiters of justice in the impeachment trial, each one of those senators lied to their God.
Well, sure.
Romney was the only one that didn't lie to his God. And then Lindsey Graham came out on Fox News and said, I know when I'm standing before God, I don't think he's going to ask me about an impeachment vote. To which I tweeted, you're not going to be standing before God, Lindsey. That's not where you're going. If nothing else, then your evangelicals don't like your kind down up in heaven. You know, they're going to send you down with Pete Buttigieg.
It's incredible. It's simply incredible. Anyway, as the Beast reports, Trump's insult to Pelosi, who was sitting on the stage not more than 25 feet from him, but Trump's insults was especially galling coming at the National Prayer Breakfast, which for half a century is supposed to have been a nonpartisan, apolitical forum for religious Americans to come together and talk about their faith, not brag about their personal political triumphs the way Trump does. And the irony, according to the Daily Beast, was especially bitter because prior to Trump, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi spoke. And she spoke of her personal faith. And then keynote speaker Arthur Brooks said that, quote, contempt is ripping our country apart, end quote. Trump doesn't give a shit about who talked before him. He doesn't know what that phrasing means, contempt is ripping our country apart. He just gets up, yeah, you know what they did to me? Do you know what they did to me? Trump proved that point, contempt ripping the country apart very easily. And anyway, after the event, Pelosi quipped that Trump, quote, is talking about things that he knows little about, faith and prayer, end quote. And she added that his digs at her and Romney were, quote, particularly without class, end quote. And remember that in the 2016 presidential election, it says here, 21% of predominantly Mormon Utah voted for Evan McMullin, a long-shot third-party candidate who made Trump's personal moral failings a centerpiece of his campaign. Yet Trump still won Utah handily. See, this is why these religious people, to me, can go fuck themselves. Okay, so Romney made a very precise and moving and reflective statement about his faith and his religion. Okay, good for you. But when the whole goddamn state, let me see here, 45% of the vote went to Trump in the 2016 election. Clinton got 27%. And Utah is likely to stay in the Republican column this year as well. They're going to vote for Trump again. So fuck you, religious people. Just go fuck yourselves. You all are hypocrites and liars, the ones that vote for Trump.
Hi, Truth Seekers. It's Kathy Malloy. Only you can help save the life of a progressive podcast. Visit MikeMalloy.com and help us keep it lit through the impeachment, the 2020 election, and beyond.